For most people, the thought of reincarnation sounds very pleasant. The thought of being someone or something else and having a better life after your current one is rather appealing to many. And I understand that. However, look at this the other way. If reincarnation was true, then you had a previous life, and most people had a previous life. But there are people born into poverty or born with illnesses or birth defects or disabilities, and it would be wrong to say that they're born that way because of what they did in their previous life. That is putting the blame on them with no evidence of them even ever committing a crime. This does happen in India, where people are mistreated and ostracized because of the conditions they were born into. And they are told that they deserve it because they must have done something in their previous life. And so they have to question, why is this happening to them and what did they do? They start feeling shame and guilt because they believe that they were a horrible person in the past life, but they don't know why they were a horrible person. They don't know why they're being punished. They just know they are. And that can be a very dangerous mindset to subject children to. A lot of people are born into unfortunate circumstances, and a lot of them never get out, but some of them do. But blaming someone because of the circumstances they were born into is very victim blaming. And that's what reincarnation teaches people. It doesn't just say there's a next life. It must also mean there's a previous life. And this previous life is what led to your current life. So the situation in your current life is because of what your previous life did, but you don't know what your previous life was like because you never had one, because reincarnation isn't true. Then your current life, you're left to wonder why you're there. And not just why were you put on this earth, but why you're in the situation. It leaves no room for people to consider that things just happen. The belief in reincarnation implies that bad things happen in your life because of retribution. This could be the karma attached to your soul, for example. The fact is, most people are born into unfortunate circumstances, born poor or disabled. And perhaps you've never been into a third world country, or you're only familiar with the first world, so this may be a very new thing to you. But the truth is, most people in the world would love to have what you have. They don't get much food to eat. They have to live in very dangerous conditions, and it would be wrong to say they all did something horrible or something bad, or this was a result of karma that got attached to the soul in the previous life and they need to get rid of it. That is what karma actually is, by the way. It's not just things you do something and something comes back to you. It's more of a force to attach to your soul, and you're trying to rid yourself before you reach nirvana. And that's the thing. The idea of reincarnation isn't exactly a positive thing if you based on the karma side of it. Because according to Hinduism and probably other Eastern religions, you go through your various lives, you reincarnate over and over again, and each time you keep trying to shed this karma. Then when you're done, you supposedly reach nirvana. That's total peace. That must imply that the life on earth isn't good. That you're here because you're not good enough, and that's really harmful. I don't think anyone's born on this earth for a reason, but I don't think we're being punished because of the circumstances, and blaming people for a previous life is very harmful to the development of the human brain, especially at a young age. I guess telling someone things will get better is a nice thing to say, but saying that the way they are now is because of something they did in the previous life, not so nice. Another problem with reincarnation is it makes it hard to show empathy towards others, and this is a problem I have with Christianity too, but I'll get into that with another video. If someone's in the situation they are in because of punishment, it's harder to be empathetic, caring, and compassionate towards them. You are convinced they deserve it, and why would you be nice to someone who deserves their punishment? If a rapist got imprisoned, most people aren't going to show empathy. They're not going to sorry for the punishment they face. They're going to say they deserve it, and that's the problem. Of course, we know the rapist deserved it because we know they raped someone. But if you're being punished because of something in your previous life, you don't know what you're being punished for. Other people don't know what you're being punished for, as much as people claim to know. The truth is, you're not being punished because of something evil you did. You're just born into unfortunate circumstances or stuff like that. And most people are, and that's okay. It's not because you did anything wrong. It just happens. If you convince yourself it's because of punishment, it makes it hard for you to get yourself out of that situation. And I faced this problem myself. I was afraid to get out of my situation because I thought if I was being punished by the gods, then there was no reason to try to change my life. It's what I deserve. I grew up thinking that I was always going to starve and always going to have times when I didn't have a place to live. But I don't have that problem anymore. And it's not that I did something good that fixed everything. It's that I put in effort into changing my life. And if you're told that it's punishment, it makes it hard for you to have the motivation to change. I understand there are different beliefs in reincarnation. Some believe that you just turn into a different creature or different person entirely with different personality and nothing to do with karma. But I'm going based on what I grew up with. Is that the idea of karma is rather harmful. And reincarnation, because you still have karma on your soul, it makes it hard to be positive. And why would you be happy if you're here because you weren't good? If it's a punishment. Can you really be happy if you know you're being punished or you believe you're being punished? I don't think so. I think people need to accept that things happen and they have no control over the circumstances they were born into, but if they put effort into improving their lives, things can change. Your life here is not because of a previous life, a test, or anything. It's just you were born, and that's actually a very rare thing if you think about it. So instead of thinking about how you must have been in your previous life, or why you're here, or what you must have done wrong, try thinking that you're born in the first place. And this may not seem like a big deal because there are a lot of people on this earth, but each sperm has unique DNA in itself. There are millions of sperm that go into the woman, and only one actually gets her pregnant. So from that, you have 1 in a million. And then you have your mom from the 3.5 to 4 billion women in the world. If it was another mother, it would be a completely different person. You would never have existed. So that puts your chances of existing to 1 in a few billion. Your existence is pretty rare. That means that you happen to be the chosen number of the lottery. And of course, if you were never born, it could have been someone else. They would be lucky to be born. And any number, it's possible. But there's the chances of you specifically being born is 1 in several billion. That's why, although you can find people who look like you, who act like you, who may even talk like you, or use the same language as you, you're probably not going to find someone exactly like you. And if you do, it's probably going to be 1 or 2 people at most. And so thinking that your life is a punishment isn't going to help you. You should instead think about how you're lucky to be alive and how you should cherish your life and do good and be nice to others because it's your only life, it's their only life. And that's it for now. This is the Off Channel, and goodbye.